getting in trouble for this, but here's a photo of one of the pages of the new Tomb King's book, just for folks who don't know what the Necropolis Knights look like. That's what they look like in the picture there, and there are their stats. They've got a 3+ armor save, and they are raging away against the slaves, killing a number of them each turn. They've got Stomp as well. Next image, what has happened is that he has predictably destroyed the giant rats with the help of the Sphinx, which did get his Thunder Crash down, and the Sphinx has pursued 12 inches straight into the clan rats behind it, which I didn't expect, so he's got a very high overrun roll there, and these guys are hiding the Warlock Engineer with the Doom Rocket, which missed, by the way. Doom Rocket totally a dud this time, and he's also got a Condenser, so he's worth quite a lot of points. But in the background, and indeed if you go to the next photo, the chariots have fallen short of the Plague Furnace, which I've got there, which is perfect because it allows me to countercharge and get the impact hits. Also, the giant rats have done a great job killing the chariot that the Tomb King was on, and due to the rules in the new book, he actually stays with the unit as an infantry model and just hangs with them, so that'll make it easier for me as well. Next image, we've got a lone skeletal horseman archer attacking the Warp Lightning Cannon and not managing to kill it, and I actually managed to get him, but he's got another unit wetting the wings to try again. Next image, to deal with that though, I've moved around with my 7 Gutter Runners, which still haven't managed to drop the War Sphinx, and because he's managed to get through to my unit with that really good lucky overrun, I wasn't able to continue poisoning it. So these guys have moved around to deal with that other Horse Arch unit in the background. Next image though, and because I felt like I had the game in the bag here, I've made a very rash and stupid move, which is to charge the side of the War Sphinx with the Gutter Runners. I wouldn't have done this in a tournament game. It's just a silly thing. I just wanted to poison stuff. That's all I wanted to do, and get their 2 attacks with poison and wound it. But really, at the end of the day, you're not going to get much of that. And because the combat res leached from the clan rats is going to be so huge, you're going to lose that unit of Gutter Runners at the end of the day. Next image, here's an overview of the battlefield, and here's why I feel like I've got this game. The Plague Furnace has charged the King's unit of chariots, and I've charged the flank with the slaves as well to give me some extra combat res for the +1 onto the flank. I've charged into his Tomb Guard unit containing his Lich Priest with the Bell, that is, and the Abomination, and the Necropolis Knights are still tied up in combat with the slaves in the background. So that's looking good. Next photo, the impact hits and the Abomination do quite well, but the Abomination only rolls a 1 for his attacks, which is feed, so he only kills, what, 3 or 4 Tomb Guard instead of heaps. And the Grey Seer refuses a challenge and scuttles up to the top of the belt, which is quite nice. And the, the giant Rat Ogre attacks the Lich Priest itself, the Hierophant, but doesn't manage to kill it. He's managed to get a 5+ ward save up on all the guys within 12 inches of that Lich, so that's helping to keep him in the fight. Next image, the Tomb King is in a challenge with the Plague Priest on the Furnace, who I think gets a wound on him, but is killed in return. And with all the damage I do this turn, a number of chariots are knocked out, which was very fortunate. Next image, he's got a Tomb Scorpion which attempts to charge in to help the King's combat out, but fails its charge. I really felt like he should have gone for the Bells unit instead to help out there, but that's what he's decided to do at the end of the day. The Grey Seer has taken some damage, but he's used his Scalm Potion to heal that back. Next image, he's running really low on Tomb Guard here, but the Abomination is actually doing very, very poorly in this combat, much worse than I was hoping for, and he's hanging in there, and he's still got all 3 characters alive. He's got the Tomb Prince, Herald, and the Hierophant remaining, and he could well start to bring some Tomb Guard back at this stage. Next image, my stupid move of attacking the War Sphinx with the Gutter Runners has not paid off, and they've fled, and this is the only remaining survivor. He won't be able to rally unless he rolls a double 1, and that's me losing, what, 126 points. Next image, the Skeletal Archers have managed to kill the Warp Lightning Cannon, and the gutter runners have fled as a result of panic from being right next to the cannon when it died. The War Sphinx has broken the unit of clan rats, but the Warlock has survived, and they have fled away. They'll get a chance to rally. And what has really bothered me is that the slaves flanking the King's unit have blown up and exploded due to his death mask, which I forgot about. And he's killed all of the plague priests pushing the furnace, which has taken a couple of wounds as well. I haven't managed to kill the King's unit with the chariot, and I'm running low on clan rats pushing the bell as well, so things starting to get quite dire. Next image, the Necropolis Knights have also dealt with the slaves now, and I haven't quite killed all the Tomb Guard yet, so I'm still raging away in that combat, so I could be in a bit of trouble. Next image again, the clan rats have rallied. I tried firing some warp lightning at the War Sphinx, but he dispelled it. So I'm going to be charged again by the Sphinx, and that's probably likely to wipe out the Warlock's unit, unfortunately. And next photo, you see him charging in and, of course, doing that. But if you go to the next photo, this is quite weird, and I've got to explain what's happening here. The Bell and the Abomination are still fighting a combat to the front. They've been charged on the left by the Necropolis Knights, but they've also been charged on the right by the King and the Chariot, which had actually destroyed the Plague Furnace, used combat reform to turn around, and then charged me in his following turn. And when we measured the charge angles, he'd charged the Abomination itself because the Chariot gives the King flaming attacks with a flaming banner, and the King and the Chariot are both clipping onto the edge of the Abomination. Had we been a bit more finicky and pedantic with the way these charges were set up, it may not have looked like this, but we're just playing a fun game here, so this is what we both agreed to have with the alignment of units. Going to the next photo, you can see in a bit more detail what's happened here. If you guys can look closely into the picture, you can see the Chariot and the King, which look like they're in combat with the Bell, but they're not. They're actually swinging past. It's just the overhang of the back Bell model's a bit wide. They're attacking the Abomination there, and he's still got his Lich and one Tomb Prince character fighting the Abomination there and the Bell, which were not destroyed in the previous turn. So when we get around to fighting the combat, all of my stuff is initiative 4. The Abomination goes first and splits his attacks between the Necropolis Knights and the King. And the Abomination, again, pitiful attacks, didn't do any damage on the Knights themselves and didn't quite kill the King or the Chariot. The Grey Seer and the Clan Rats managed to polish off the last couple of wounds from the characters in the front. But when the return attacks came, he did enough wounds to take my Abomination down to 1 wound, and with the Death Mask, no BSB effect. In fact, my BSB's gone now. The Abomination failed its stubborn roll and fled. And the pursuit caught him. I'm not really sure whether you're meant to allow the enemies to pursue if they're still in combat with the Bell, but because his units weren't touching the Bell, he wanted to argue that he could still chase me down. I let him. I couldn't be bothered looking up the rules. I assume it does work that way. So if you look at the last photo of the game, it's just as Necropolis Knights against the Bell. All the clan rats are gone. This is the only model I've got left. I've actually used magic cracks called to kill his king. I assumed I could do that in combat, and I don't see why I couldn't. And I've killed his chariot as well, leaving just the 2 Necropolis Knights. He's got that and some archers and a catapult left and a War Sphinx. The War Sphinx nearly lost its last wound after all that poison to crumbling, but he rolled 9, which was enough because he's a construct, and that ended the game. And I had a narrow loss here due to making some dumb decisions during this game. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I didn't feel too bad about losing the game because I had a great time playing against Glenn. I didn't feel like his army was too powerful. The Tomb Kings are pretty average in general. If we replayed this game, I know that I'd win because I wouldn't make the same dumb mistakes that I did. So, I can take that away feeling happy. And this is an army that I will be taking to the 10 Soldiers tournament next month. So, hope you guys are looking forward to that one. See you later.